Hey everyone, I'm just going to give everyone a minute to get in. Ah, it's been a long week. Um, I am still recuperating. Hello, Suzanne. I hope you had a wonderful day as well. I hope you had a wonderful week. I had a pretty good week myself. Um, I'm still recuperating from last week. We had a convention at church, and I was in the kitchen the whole week, and it was a lot. It was a lot, but we got through it. Thank the Lord. And yeah, I'm still kind of recuperating from that. But nonetheless, I did have a good week. What is going on in your world? Did you have anything good this week to share? I had a few good things this week. I have been doing some extensive research on what is called trap crops. So I want to definitely talk about that. Huga Homestead, thank you for joining me. Yes, so like I was saying, I want to talk in a little while. I want to talk about a little a little more about trap crops because in the past couple of years, I have gotten zero zucchini. Okay, my plants have been decimated by those white butterflies. So this year, I thought I would get ahead of it and work on some uh, preventive measures and some organic pest control. I'm feeling hopeful about my little pepper plants. First true leaves on two of them. Oh, that's exciting. It's really exciting when you start to see those true leaves. It definitely is. I was in here but could not type, so I had to restart YouTube. Thanks for joining me, Mel. LP, how are you? I just got 3 packs of bush beans because I love a good reason to buy seeds. I was out of bush beans. It's funny because I did also just buy a bunch of seeds. Okay, let me start again. Hello, girlfriend. Hello, Mel. Hi, Mel. Everyone's saying hi. Yes, those little white butterflies. I'm telling you, the last couple years has been really bad. So this year, I thought I will get ahead of it, and I was doing a lot of research on trap crops. So this year, I will be planting a lot of like sacrificial crops. I don't want to say a lot, but I'm going to plant specific sacrificial crops in order to target those pests so that I can try to deter them away from my like zucchini and my brassicas and things like that. So we'll talk about that in a little while. Just let everyone have a chance to get in here. And a couple of good things happened this week. Oh, Melanie, I just harvested 30 broccoli heads. Wow. I hope I can harvest broccoli this year. My broccoli has not done good either, and it's all due to that little white butterfly. I didn't get a chance to see that video yet. I did see that it was posted, but I have been so busy all day that I did not get to see that. I was running around. I was getting compost. I was getting manure to do my grow bags because I have to get those plants um, transplanted. The ones that I got from the farmer's market, the cantaloupe and the watermelon And what are the other ones? I got all that okra that has to go out. Um, there was something else, zucchini. Yeah, zucchini. Um, I got about 8 of each plant, and I got even more okra. So I have to get that stuff going. Plus, I'm working on setting up um, another raised bed. So we'll see how that goes. I'll be posting the harvest video tomorrow, 2 separate videos. Okay, and I will definitely see those videos. Is it hot out there, Mel? Has it gotten hot? We've been kind of cool this last week. We were in like the 60s and 70s. Today was probably the first really hot day that we've had. It was in the 80s, but the whole week has been pretty cool. So I'm not complaining because I was able to get some things done. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I need to know how your broccoli survived. Don't hurt the harvest. Thanks for coming in. My Feel Good Friday comment. I checked in my beehive and they are very busy. I need to add a box on top. All right. So, did those bees come back? Or, I mean, did they stay? Were those bees that you had already and they stayed and they survived, through the winter season or what have you? And they're building. I got it done in 98-degree heat. I'm happy I didn't lose it to the weather. Good. You probably got it just in time. Rain, rain, go away. Yeah, matter of fact, it was just raining a little while ago. When I went to the sawmill, I don't know if you guys saw that video. When I went to the sawmill, it started raining right before I went there. And then today I went to get compost, and as soon as I left the compost site, it started drizzling. So every other day it has been raining. I have nightshade growing wild in my yard and garden. I want to weed it all until I notice they're full of holes. Maybe that's a nice distraction. Yes, LP, that could be. If you notice that there's a plant with full of holes and that plant is taking the brunt of the pest damage, then I would leave it. I would definitely leave it because then that means they're going to pay attention to that plant and not pay attention to your plants. I got them last year. They swarmed off, but a swarm came back. Okay, good job. That's exciting. That is really exciting. Now, is there a queen in there? Have you looked in there to see if there's a queen? Planted them super close and think that helps. Yes, Mel, you are definitely an intense gardening, um, intensive gardener where you plant things intensively. Okay, so I have a couple of Feel Good Fridays. I entered a couple of giveaways, a couple like the week before last or last week or the week before. I was in Time to Grow's live and I got a book and a gardening journal. So I'm excited about that. It's a book that Lady Led wrote. I don't know if you guys are familiar with who Lady Led is, but she wrote a book and it has something to do with like weight and dieting and, you know, having a transformation of just like a healthier lifestyle, pretty much. So I'm excited about that book. And then also a gardening journal I got. And then I entered a giveaway for Gale Southern Living, and I won that giveaway, and I got one of those apple peelers. So I'm really excited about that. I'll be able to do some apple butter and some applesauce and some different things where I can peel and core the apples and things. So I'm really excited about that. Hey Rick, nice to see you. I saw that swing you built out of that ski lift thing. That was pretty neat. That was really neat. Got out of bed to pop in. My back is out. Yes. So how is your back doing? When did you throw your back out? I've done that. I've done that a couple of times actually. It is so painful. I know the pain that you're going through. It's terrible. It brought me to tears. It hurts so bad. I really hope that you're putting ice on it and definitely letting it heal. I think so. Someone is giving orders. You're welcome, Rick. I really enjoyed that. Um, Been about a week now. Yes, I scream when I move my arms and try to walk. Oh, yeah. Even my dog was he was really nervous and he didn't really know how to respond when I threw my back out and I was just hollering and I was, crying. I was in tears. He just didn't know what to do. He was just beside himself because he knew something was wrong and he didn't know what it was. So he just kept on licking me in my face like trying to stay by me. It's funny how they know like when something's not right. Everyone's saying hi. So today I took my daughter to see a Navy recruiter. She is choosing to go to the Navy after she graduates. This coming year she's going to be a senior, so she's going to go to the Navy. Really proud of her. She got a really high score, and I definitely support her in her decision, and I'm just really happy for her. There's a way to fix a bad back, but I can't recommend it. Can't recommend it. Yeah, I definitely I know what you're going through. I've thrown my back out a couple of times. One time I was helping my sister carry her groceries in. We had just went to the grocery store. I don't even know what I was doing that day before I took her grocery shopping. It must have been something because usually when my back gets to that point, it's because I've been doing something, lifting, bending, um, building, doing things, doing too much, pretty much. So I was helping my sister and I carried a case of water in the house and I set it down and then I like as soon as I set it down, it was like that was it. My back was it was done, and I had to still drive myself home. It was terrible. I almost couldn't even get out of the car when I got to the house, but I know the pain. My feel good Friday is finding purple cauliflower. Oh my goodness. I love purple. Purple's my favorite color. Thank you. Thank you. Purple cauliflower. Yes. Thank you, LP. So I wanted to give everyone kind of a chance to come in. Do you see the background? That's my purple sage. I had my sage started flowering, and it's the most beautiful purple sage. And then the bees are just loving it. The bees and the different pollinators coming in, they are just loving that purple sage. And then I have some kale that's flowering too, and all the pollinators are loving that. I did start some new kale. The kale came back from last year and now it's going to seed. Kale is like a biennial plant, so it'll last it when you plant it, it'll last that whole season. It'll go into the fall, it'll die off for the winter, then it'll come back again in the spring, but then come summer, that's when it'll go to seed. So I'm not going to save the seed this year because I saved seed last year. And if you've ever had kale go to seed in your garden, you know that there's just a ton of seed, ton of it. I don't need any more seed, so I'm going to chop it out. I had back problems, and then I got crushed between three cars. Broke both femurs, had to learn to walk again, but my back is fine now. I just needed a good jolt, I guess. Oh, wow. Rick, you are lucky. You're lucky to be alive, let alone having a good back. Purple of Sicily. Okay, I so am going to get packs of them. Yes. That sounds great. I've never grown purple cauliflower. When I was a kid, my mom was watching me at gymnastics. When class was over, she couldn't stand up. Oh, babysitter came and got me so dad could take her to the ER. Take care to strengthen your back and abs. Yes, definitely. Hey, Mark, how are you? So nice to see you. And Nisi, thank you. Very late cooking dinner, so I'm listening in the background. Oh, you're not late. You're not late at all. It's what I've only been on here for like 15 minutes. So I'm still here, so you're not late. Um, hey, Danny, how are you? Nice of you to join me. Hello, everyone in the chat. I'll be in the kitchen, so hi to everyone. That's Nisi. Feel Good Friday. I had given up on my planted pumpkin seeds, but when I checked, I finally found a seedling, sugar pumpkin. Good for food or the jack-o'-lantern. Yes, it's funny how seeds are. Um, hey Gary, how you doing? Nice to see you. Red Scout, thank you for joining. What's going on bingo today? We could play some bingo in a little while. I did want to talk about trap cropping today because it's a way that I'm going to try to control the pests in my garden this year. Yes, the cop, the EMTs, and the ER doctor all said I should not have survived. I told them I couldn't give up on my small children. Oh, Rick, that's so, that's beautiful. Yes, it's definitely a miracle that you survived that. I want to see, I put something in the chat, in the Nightbot so that it will drop the links to everyone's channels. So I want to see if it works. So if you type in IBG, all together, IBG, in the comment, and then I want to see if Nightbot will drop your link. Hello, James. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. Yes, let's see. I wonder if it'll work. Oh, yes, look right there. Connect to this fabulous channel and then it drops the links. Okay, cool. Suzanne. Yes. Okay, good. I couldn't figure out what the command was to do that, and I know that a lot of other channels were able to get Nightbot to drop links in the chat, and I was like, I cannot find the command for that. Like, I was on YouTube, I was looking at videos, I was looking through Nightbot's command area where you can see what all the commands are or whatever, and I just could not find it. So I was like, I had reached out to Nisi at Freehandly Made, and she was able to email me the link so that I could do it. So yeah, I was like, what the world? I cannot figure this out. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I don't understand Nightbot in the least. I am so not a tech person. I used to be really good with stuff like that. And then, technology just, you have to keep up with it. If you don't keep up with it, you're so out of date. So, and I just am not good at keeping up with things. So, yes, look at all the links being dropped. That's good. I've been watching them. Very cool stuff. Yes. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about trap crops because this year I'm trying something that I want to use in, whoops, there it is. I almost got rid of my comments. I'm like, where's my comments? Okay, so trap crops. It's like an integrated pest management. Okay, so it's something that I want to integrate into the garden this year to see how it will work, because for the last couple of years I have not been able to get any zucchini. And I've planted all types of squash. Okay, so I've planted patty pan squash, yellow squash, the regular old green zucchini, yellow zucchini. Like, I've planted tons of different squash. And every year I get those vine borers and those squash bugs, and they just come and then they just decimate my plants, and I can't. I know for the past 2 years I've got no zucchini and squash. So this year I'm going to do something different. So, what is a trap crop? First of all, the trap crop is known as like a sacrificial crop. So, it's a crop that you plant, you add it to your garden, and it deters the pests. It attracts them away from your other crops. So, if you think about the fact that we have favorite foods, okay, some of my favorite foods are like Mexican food or seafood. Okay, so if I go to a restaurant and they have options of choosing, um, I don't know, eggplant parmesan or garlic shrimp linguine, then I think I'll probably lean towards the garlic shrimp linguine because it's more of what I prefer. And insects are the same way. They definitely have a preferred um, they definitely have a preferred plant that they like to munch on. Something to protect my zucchini and squash. Yes. Nasturtium is definitely a good one. Nasturtium, I have not been able to get a lot of nasturtium to grow. I plant it, but I don't know, for some reason, it just does not germinate very well for me. And I've done a couple of different brands or types or whatever, what have you. I don't have them with me right now. They're probably in the sunroom, but I've done like Fairy Morse, I think, had a nasturtium. I had some from botanical, what's it called? Botanical Interests. So I've had a few different nasturtiums that I planted, and they just don't germinate well for me. I don't know why. You can always ask for alyssum and become a political. Hello, I want to believe. How are you? I was hurting last year with my zucchini. Yes, I'm telling you, I feel you there. So, Danny says she plants basil and marigold around the tomatoes to deter pests, but also nasturtium as a trap crop for aphids. Good, yes, and marigolds are definitely a good one. Hello, Miss Shirley. This is one, yes, Danny, this is one that I wanted to talk about, and it's the blue Hubbard squash. that is what I'm planting this year in hopes that I will deter the vine borer from eating or laying its eggs in my zucchini and my other squashes. And hopefully it will gravitate to the blue Hubbard squash instead. So, in some research that I was doing, and it's like, I'll show you some of my resources. So the Alabama Cooperative Extension System, the University of Florida Institute of Food Agricultural Sciences, and also Utah State University Extension. So between those three that have done some extensive research on the matter, they all say that, that the blue Hubbard squash is definitely a it's 10 to 13 squash bugs are 10 to 13 times more attracted to the Hubbard squash, and they lay 10 to 13 times more eggs on the Hubbard squash compared to any other squash. So um, that's my plan this year, is to use the Hubbard squash for my zucchini for the vine borers. Um, People set traps up here all the time. Yes. Oops, my chat just jumped. Um, Wicked vine borer is an issue. Yes, the vine borer is a big issue, and that is what made me. Um, but if you want your blue Hubbard squash, that's a problem. Not necessarily, because the um, even with the pest damage to the Hubbard squash, um, the research shows that they still were able to get a crop out of it. So, all right, let's see. Somebody should develop a zucchini bikini. I had nasturtium in a pot. Okay, moving things around while cleaning the deck. I left them exposed and the chickens ate the tops off. Oh, wow. Okay, here's the catch. You need to still pull and put the larva and kill them. Yes, yes, yes. That's what it. You need proper management and timing. So we talked about what is a trap crop. Trap crop is the sacrificial crop. So the trap crop would be the blue Hubbard, would be your trap crop for vine borers and squash bugs. Now sunflowers are also a trap crop. And sunflowers are trap crops for stink bugs. If you guys ever get like an infestation of stink bugs, they are most attracted to sunflowers. So you want to succession plant sunflowers, because once the sunflowers die off, then they're going to go for your plants, and you don't want them decimating your plants. So once you get some sunflowers going, you want to every couple of weeks, every 2 to 3 weeks, start some more sunflowers, so that when those first sunflowers are spent, you have backups for the next wave of stink bugs. Another one is buckwheat. Buckwheat is also good at after 5 weeks. It gets to the attractive state, and it also is good for stink bugs. Um, Sunflower is a multifunction. It attracts attracts the good bugs, and it attracts the bad bugs. So in essence, the good bugs are attracted to the sunflower, and the bad bugs are attracted to the sunflower. The good bugs feed on the pollen, but they also feed on the bad bugs. So that sunflower is a very excellent trap crop. Now there's also something called sorghum, and it's good for leaf-footed bugs, which attack tomatoes. I've never had any issues with anything attacking my tomatoes, not yet, anyhow. I did one time find what are they called? The tomato hornworm. One time I found one. But other than that, I like to keep birds around my garden. So they usually take care of any type of worms or anything like that. Then also mustards. Mustards are also a trap crop. Mustards are trap crop for the diamondback moth. Okay. And what happens is the moth will lay its eggs on the mustard instead of your cabbage. And then the larva cannot establish and survive on the mustards. So then its population will die off. But back to the Hubbard squash. Now, the reason why you need to keep an eye on the Hubbard squash, you need to make sure that you're spraying the Hubbard squash. So if you don't want to spray your plants, but you want to get rid of the pests, once you see them on the Hubbard squash, then you spray the Hubbard squash. And then that will take care of the population from repopulating and, you know what I mean, getting out of control. And then you can work on controlling those pests. Blue Hubbard squash stock just went up. I opted out of growing zucchini and yellow squash this year, went for more cucumbers, lost 4 out of 8, maybe more. Haven't been able to get out there in days. Another one is the cucumber beetle. So there's a cucumber beetle, and it's also attracted to the Hubbard squash. So the Hubbard squash is definitely a good option. Ugh, I had so many stink bugs in my house this winter. I hate them. Yes, yes. Cut stems vertically and extracted larvae. Another thing that I've seen a lot of people doing with their squash is they were injecting liquid BT into the stems of the squash plant beforehand. So that BT is in there, and should a vine borer or a squash bug get to the vine of your plant, that BT is in there and it will kill off the larva before it has a chance to decimate your plant. I haven't really researched that any further than a couple of videos that I saw, but it crossed my mind. It definitely crossed my mind. Hello to anyone I've missed. Let's see. Okay, so then now, so why use a trap crop? Well, because we want to keep our main crops, right? But we also don't want to have to be spraying. I myself cannot keep up with a regimen of constantly spraying my plants. Like, I know that I use neem oil and I use like peppermint sprays and, you know, organic sprays. But I don't want to have to keep doing that. I don't want to have to keep going out there and constantly spraying my plants. So that's why it's easier and less work to just use a trap crop. So how does it work? Okay, we talked about how it works, because just as we have favorite foods, those bugs have favorite foods as well. And the Hubbard squash, the buckwheat, the sunflower, those are all considered favorite foods for those pests. Okay, so where do you plant the trap crops? Okay, so you want to plant the trap crops on the perimeter of your garden, so on the outside. Now you want to try to predict which direction those pests are going to come from. So along the back of my garden, along the back of my yard, is like a big hedge. There's trees, there's bushes, there's lots of places for bugs to overwinter and pests to emerge. So I'm thinking that they're probably going to be coming from that direction. So I want to make sure that I have those Hubbard squash on that side of my garden for sure. But then I also want them on the other side of the garden. So on either side of my garden, I want to make sure that I have at least one Hubbard squash plant. That way, if whatever direction they're coming from, they will see the Hubbard squash first and they will gravitate to that plant rather than to my plants. So, so that's where you want to plant them. And if you're doing like a larger scale and you're doing your squash and things in like rows, then you would want to put them on the outside rows of your main crop. So your main crop is in the middle, and then you do your outside like a border of trap crops. So I have sunflowers on both sides of my garden, and I don't know if you guys saw the short that I posted, but I just germinated some Hubbard squash like overnight, literally overnight, like within 24 hours, I germinated some Hubbard squash, and now I'm going to get that out in the dirt. All right, so where, why, when? Okay, when is also important because you want your trap crops out at least 2 weeks before your main crop, which I'm late, okay? I've got some squash out there. I don't have my zucchini out yet, but my zucchini has already been germinated and it's already started growing. So it is further along than the Hubbard squash is. But yes, use less neem oil with the trap crop. Outside your other crops, exactly. So I don't want to miss anybody. Did I miss anybody? Oh, here we go. Hello, thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. I don't want to miss anybody. Did I get everybody? GT Junior, thank you for joining me. Okay. All right, if I missed you, I'm sorry. Okay, so where was I? All right, so when do you plant them? So you want to try to get your trap crops going before your regular crops. That way, when the pests arrive, your trap crops are nice and appetizing and mature enough that the pests will be attracted to them and not to your other crops. So it takes adequate planning and management, which, like I said, you have to plan to put your trap crops out at least 2 weeks before your regular crops, right? And then you have to watch, you have to keep an eye on your trap crops. So just like a weekly observation, just to be able to see whether or not it is actually attracting those pests. And then when you start to see those pests on the trap crop, that's when you want to start your spraying. Now, you're spraying your trap crops to avoid spraying your regular crops. And it's beneficial for me if I can just choose to spray 1 or 2 crops rather than have to spray all of my zucchini and all of my squash and those leaves and get all on the undersides and all that good stuff. I don't want to have to keep doing that. So if I can choose to just spray a couple of plants, then that works for me. And you want to do it in the evening hours because it'll provide 80 to 90% insect control. So once you have trapped the population of pests in that crop, then it's time to eradicate them. Okay? That's your opportunity to spray them and get rid of them. And a lot of times they're down at the base of the plant, like all the squash bugs. So if you just like water it real deeply, like for a little while, you'll see them all start to crawl up. And then that's when you want to get them and spray them. So pests to traps. So I did talk about the pests to traps. So the squash bugs and the cucumber beetles, those are 16 times more attracted to the Hubbard squash than they are to your regular squash. So, and the vine borer was 44% uh, more attracted to the Hubbard squash than the regular squash. So in a study where they had Hubbard squash planted as a trap crop with yellow squash, 44% of the Hubbard squash was infected and only 2% of the yellow squash was infected. And like I said, these are studies that I had looked at from the Alabama Cooperative Extension System, the University of Florida Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, and then also the Utah State University Extension. So these are all universities and extensions that have done lots of research on trap crops. So, like I said, around the perimeter, borders, rows, planted 2 weeks ahead of time. And your Hubbard will definitely, it'll still vigorously grow despite all the pest damage. So you might just get a bonus harvest of a blue Hubbard squash. I don't know if you want that or not, but you might just come out with a bonus. So yeah, that's like everything that I really wanted to share with you guys with relation to the trap cropping. And like I mentioned, the buckwheat. I don't have any buckwheat, but I plan maybe to next year incorporate the buckwheat in because it only takes 5 weeks for the buckwheat to get to an attractive state for um, for the stink bugs. I don't have a big problem with stink bugs, but it does attract a host of beneficial insects as well. So I don't see how it could hurt. Mustards are for the diamondback moths. So I definitely have mustards planted already. And then sorghum is a good one for the leaf-footed bugs, but so is the sunflower. So the sunflower, definitely have some sunflowers growing already. And then now I have just germinated my Hubbard squash, which is also good for cucumber beetles. So I'm going to put my Hubbard squash on the side where I have my cucumbers, and I'm going to put my Hubbard squash on the other side where I have some squash growing as well. So I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye about on whether or not this is going to work for me because, like I said before, sorry guys, I got my window open, so I don't know if that was really loud or not. But like I said before, it has been 2, maybe 3 years, and I have gotten 0 zucchini plants, 0 squash plants. So I'm really excited to be trying to incorporate the trap crops just to see if perhaps it'll work out for me. Cosmos, a trap crop. I have not read anything about cosmos being a trap crop. Now I know that they do attract beneficial insects, and sometimes just the beneficial insect population being present can offer pest control as well. It's another form of organic pest control because if you have enough food and attractive things for your beneficials, then they'll be attracted to your garden, and the beneficials will come in, and then they will take care of the non, the invasive pests. Now, let me see if I missed anything in the chat. Oh, Mel says she has about 9 zucchini plants. I have 8 zucchini plants that I need to get planted. But I also have 2 patty pan squash. I have a spaghetti squash. I have a honey boat squash. And then I also have a volunteer squash that I believe is either a Romanesco or a what's the other one I had planted in that area? It was Romanesco or I can't remember the other one. It'll come to me. But there's a volunteer in that bed, and it's either one or the other because those are the only two that I had growing in that area. So, but I have not put my zucchini out yet because I want to get those Hubbard squash out there first. Then in a bed, I have corn, honey, acorn, honey, and butternut squash. Probably spelt wrong, all those same bed. Okay. I've never grown the acorn or the butternut squash. Um, I'm just not sure if I will use it up. I know that it's going to produce a lot, and I'm not sure that I am going to be able to use up all that it produces. Like, I love spaghetti squash. I will use that up. My kids love spaghetti squash. Well, my youngest daughter does. My husband does. So there's no issue there because I don't know if you've seen a video on my channel, but I have a super simple way of preparing spaghetti squash, and it takes like no time at all, and it's really good. So that I do, but the rest of them squash, I'm not sure that I would eat them. I am having awful back spasms. Oh, I see one of the 6-footers every year since we moved here in 2014. Let's see. I don't want to miss anything. Oh, I used to work for IFAS while at the University of Florida. Okay, that's really interesting. That's nice to know. If you grow pumpkins and a vine borer attacks your vine, you can bury a part of the vine on the other side and it will develop roots and save the plant. You know, Gary, I tried that before and I don't know, I might have been too late, and it didn't work for me. It didn't work for me. I tried to do that with my pumpkin, because Gail from Gail Southern Living had given me some pumpkin seeds and I planted them, and yeah, I didn't I didn't have any pumpkins. Leaf-legged bugs are bad here. I hate them getting on my tomato plants. Okay, so I don't have that issue very bad, but I know that um, sorghum and sunflowers are really good trap plants for the leaf-footed bugs. Okay. I have a lot of cucumber beetles this year, but I have a wall of sunflowers that are doing well so far. Good. Now those sunflowers, actually the Hubbard squash is a trap crop for the cucumber beetle. So the Hubbard squash takes care of cucumber beetles, squash bugs, and vine borers. Some of the most, deadly pests in your garden are going to be attracted to that Hubbard squash. Hello, Rochelle. I'm probably late greeting you, about 5 minutes, I guess. But thank you for coming in. I think I got 4 zucchinis out of the entire summer last year. And you know what? I didn't get any. I didn't get any last year, and I didn't get any the year before. I'm just like, what is going on? I'm not used to this. But yeah, that vine borer has just been insane. So I'm definitely going to be excited if the trap cropping works for me. That was a lot of great info. I may need to rewatch and take notes. Yeah, definitely. I have some blue Hubbard squash seeds that I would be willing to share. with anyone who wants to try to get a blue Hubbard squash plant going. I know that you have to plant it at least a couple of weeks ahead of your other crops, but if it grows pretty vigorously from what I can read, and it might just, if you got squash out now already and you want to try to make sure to get a harvest, and you want to do the black and you want to do the trap cropping with the blue Hubbard, I would suggest getting the blue Hubbard planted, but then also planting a backup of squash. So plant your blue Hubbard once, after about 2 weeks after it's germinated and it started growing, then plant a backup crop of your squash. That way, if your first round of squash ends up getting attacked by the pests before the blue Hubbard has had a chance to do its trap cropping, then you can take those squash plants out, allow the blue Hubbard to get to its maturity level to where it's going to be enticing to those pests, and then put your second wave of squash in so that you are guaranteed to get a harvest, if that makes sense, like a succession crop, like a succession planting. But instead, it's just like a backup. Is that a flower or a carrot? Cosmos, that is. Cosmos are flowers. I thought you said crackpot. That's funny. I said something earlier about something. I don't remember what it was. Oh my gosh, Gary. Better a crackpot than a crack pipe. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I forgot to plant my zucchini seeds. Yeah, I didn't plant any zucchini seeds either this year, but I bought some starts at the nursery at the farmers market, and there was 8 of them in the little 4-cell tray. And then I started doing the research on the trap cropping. So once I figured out that I needed to have started my blue Hubbard squash already, um, I went ahead and hurried up and did the paper towel germination, which they germinated, I mean, overnight they germinated, which I was very happy. I did some more sunflowers and I did some blue Hubbards and then I did some more sunflowers. So I have 4 blue Hubbard squash that I'm going to plant. And then I just germinated a bunch more sunflowers, because I do have some sunflowers already growing. But I want to make sure that once those ones fizzle out, I'll have a backup, another wave of sunflowers to put out. So we have a groundhog that eats our squash always about when we are ready to harvest it. Oh, maybe just plant him his own squash plant. You think he'll just stick to one plant? No idea where to put it though. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Rochelle, you have got containers on containers out there. Um, I would suggest getting a tote and maybe planting it in a tote, because what you can probably do is in your tote, you can plant your squash or your zucchini in the tote. Get a big enough tote, but you can also make room by putting a pot or a grow bag on top of your tote. And then on the sides of that grow bag or that container, you can grow like 2 zucchini or whatever. And it'll take up that space in the line of grow bags. But then you can put at least one grow bag on top of that tote, if you understand what I mean. We had a high of 63 today, which was a huge surprise. It'll be in the 90s all next week starting Sunday. I haven't looked at next week's forecast, but I do know that this week it was pretty cool. We were in like the 60s and 70s all week. Today was probably the first day that we were in the 80s, which was kind of nice, but I was not complaining. I just planted my zucchini yesterday from seed, And you know what, Danny? It's not too late. It's definitely not too late to plant zucchini right now from seed. Hate spaghetti squash. I love spaghetti squash. My butternut lasted 7 months. You know what? Spaghetti squash also lasted like that for me. I had two spaghetti squash that I had forgot about, and they lasted such a long time. I grew acorn and butternut squash last year. They're not hard to grow at all. And that's the thing, Suzanne. I know they're not hard to grow, and I know they're vigorous growers, and I know they will produce a lot. So I'm not sure that I'm prepared for that because, for one, I don't know if I like it all that much. I'll probably have to buy one and cook it and just figure out whether or not I really like it. Um, but I don't want to grow something that's going to take up a lot of space, for one, produce too much that I'm not going to eat. I don't want to waste it. And yeah, so I don't want to grow something that my family's not going to eat. But I'll have to definitely figure out whether or not I like it or not. They're full. Honey nut squash is so yummy, but angel hair spaghetti squash is my fave. I don't know if it's angel hair spaghetti squash. Huh. I know it's spaghetti squash. I think I got it from Haas Tools. Um, Let me see. I got this whole basket of seeds over here. Oh, you guys, I don't know if you can see this. This is my package of, no, you're not going to be able to see it. No. The blue Hubbard squash. It's 100 seeds I got here. So, yeah. Where's it at? Okay, so, no, I took them out of here. I've got some burpee spaghetti squash, but then I also have Haas Tools spaghetti squash. And I'm pretty sure that I planted the Haas Tools ones. And it just says vegetable spaghetti. It doesn't say that it's angel hair. Interesting. Now you make me want to find the angel hair. We were talking about my black snake videos. Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw that when you put that snake up in the chicken coop because there was, I think it was a rat up there, right? You had a rat up in the chicken coop, and then you put that black snake up there. I was like, oh boy. And then I don't know, we didn't get to see what happened, but did the snake get the rat? Inquiring minds want to know. Honey Nut and Mama. Mama? Is that a name of a squash? Hmm. Ooh, that's right. Pumpkins root everywhere, but you do have to get it early enough. Yeah, see, I don't think I got it early enough. My pumpkin got attacked, and then I tried to root the vine in another place, and it just didn't work. Great to grow squash for storage. I am also growing meat squash. Never heard of meat squash. So I'll have to pay attention to those videos because I want to see. Okay, let's see if my headache is gone enough to put in some laundry. Oh, Danny, I'm sorry you have a headache. I don't have Hubbard squash, unfortunately. Yeah, so I got this pack and I just got it and it had 100 seeds. It's got 100 seeds in it, so I'd be willing to share some Hubbard squash with somebody if you guys want to try to plant the trap crops. It says that it takes 110 days. So if you guys want to get a head start on it or get a jump start on it, then now would be the time. I was so hurting last year for zucchini, not. I used to have chameleons and would take them to the garden and point them in on my index finger, and they'd shoot the bugs with their tongues while I made sound effects. That sounds funny. That sounds funny. Okay, yeah. I think it was too many people doing it at once, Rick. If you guys put IBG in the chat, it'll drop your link. So if anybody has not already done it, or you want to drop your link, then feel free to drop IBG in the chat, and Nightbot will drop your link. I so want a blue Hubbard squash. Okay, I'll send you some blue Hubbard squash seeds. Let me write down a note to remind myself, because otherwise I will forget. Oh, I had some mint to send out to some people, and I got super busy, so I have not forgot about you guys. The ones that were requesting some mint, I have not forgot about you. I will send out the mint. Your zucchini never grew last year? Like it never germinated at all? Or it just like fizzled out? Can they grow in part shade? Well, zucchini likes at least 6 hours of sun. So they can grow in part shade, but if you've got at least 6 hours of sun, then I would say that they should be able to grow. Gail, nice to see you. I just talked about you earlier. I got your package finally. No, that's not. That's from Ann Dale. I forgot Ann Dale. Yeah, I won something on Ann Dale's live too. Um, I got your package, Gail, and I will be doing a mail call video soon. So stay tuned for that. Danny went to put some clothes in the laundry in, I think. We had a bumper harvest of squash and zucchini, but not last year. Okay. Miss Shirley wants to know where Brampton Gardner has been. Maybe if you get a solid 8 hours of sun. Yeah. You keep missing my joke on zucchini. Glad to see someone else besides me falls behind in comments. No, Mel, I know that you were up to your eyeballs in zucchini that year, but last year, and you probably don't actually need a bunch of zucchini. That was a lot of zucchini you had. You sure did. Paul Honeyman. Yes, he would fit in with Paul Honeyman. He should be ready for Thanksgiving. I noticed some peppers dropped their flowers because of it being so cool. Yeah, that happens. Either they will drop peppers from being too cool, or they will drop peppers from being too hot. Paul Honeyman and Beltloop are birds of a feather, and they enjoy each other's company. Definitely, I agree. I have corn growing in a pot, and it all came up. Nice. Oh, hey, Nikki. What time was that message? Okay, so I'm only like 8 minutes behind in the chat. Mona, thank you for coming in. Thanks for joining me, you guys. I was going over trap cropping. So my spaghetti squash went first 3 months. Hello, JV Outdoors. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. I hope I didn't miss anybody else. We are finally getting our plantings done, greatly expanded this year. and we'll be expanding more next year. You got to be careful with that, Rick. You don't want to do too much too soon. Give yourself some time to adjust to the first expansion before you take on more expansion. You don't want to overwhelm yourself with too much work, that is. All right, I think that's everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and get down to the bottom. Oh, wait, did I miss Rick leaving? Okay, it's getting chilly on my porch. I'm going inside and getting a couple things done. Good night, all. Good night, Rick, and thank you for joining me. Thank you so much. If you guys drop IBG in the chat, then Nightbot will drop your link. I remember you heard sweetmeat isn't a favorite of vine borer, but last year I had that out first and they got it. Maybe you need a bunch of other stuff out, but the vine borer likes sweetmeat. Yep. I'm telling you, the vine borer likes Hubbard squash. So that's what I'm planting this year as a trap crop for the vine borer. Nikki said she's growing corn in the ground and in a grow bag, and they are both doing well. I don't dedicate space to corn. It's just, it's really, I don't want to say cheap, but it's not expensive here, so I don't mind buying it. And then I still have some in the freezer. So, hello, Lori. Nice to see you. I'm so glad you got my garden supplies that I sent you. Lori got her mint, you guys. Remember when I was going to risk it and send Lori her mint all the way to Canada? She got her mint. Thankfully, she got her mint. So, just to recap what we went over for the new ones that are coming in. No, not orange mint, Mel. I don't have orange mint. I only had pineapple mint and chocolate mint, but I didn't have orange mint, and I didn't see. You know what I need? I need some apple mint. That's what I need. Oh, Mona, you got mint too? I don't even remember sending. I didn't remember who I sent mint to. I was just sending mint to everybody. But I do have some more mint that I'm sending out because the last live that I had, a couple of people reached out and they needed some mint, whether it was pineapple or chocolate. I have the emails and I just have been really busy. So, but I will get that out for the ones who did reach out. So I know Jan was one. She reached out and said that she wanted some pineapple mint, I think it was. And David Gray and a couple, just a few people had reached out. So yes. Oh yes, Gail, I remember. And it's doing so good where you have it. When you showed the mint coming back this year, it was so vigorous. I could see that it was just bursting. It was, and I bet it smells so good. Okay, you did, and it's planted. Good. Good to hear. Okay, so I planted container corn and the squirrels uprooted the entire seedlings. Oh my gosh. Maybe one of these days you can do a panel talk with several of you super gardening ladies. I would definitely do that. If you guys want to come up, that's fine. If anybody would like to come up, I can drop the link if anybody would like to join me. The chocolate mint is doing awesome. The pineapple mint is only rooting very slowly. Yeah, I think that the pineapple mint was not as, I did notice that it was not as vigorous as the chocolate mint. It's definitely not as vigorous. I wrote you an email for pineapple mint. You're a hot mess, my girlfriend. Yes, I do have a very small list of people that are supposed to get some more mint. I have been so busy, so I don't want to package it up and then not be able to take it to the post office. So, dang, I had squirrels uproot my pea seedlings. They didn't bother until they sprouted. I covered the bed with bug mesh. I think Zeke does a really good job at keeping the squirrels away from my things because he marks his whole territory around the whole perimeter of my entire property. And, I have not seen any rabbits in a long time. I've not seen any squirrels in a long time. I never see things like raccoons, or I don't even see deer in my backyard anymore. Like when we first moved here, I used to see deer here and there. I don't even see deer in my backyard ever. Let's see. Oh, I did. Yep, got that email. I love you to pieces. You know this, man. And I love you too, Mel. Great to see you, LP. Have a blessed weekend. Okay, LP, have to head out. Catch it, rest on the replay. Take care. Take care, LP. Okay, so let's recap on what I went over. So we were talking about trap crops. So a trap crop is basically like a sacrificial crop, and you plant it in order to attract the pests on purpose. Okay. It's like a companion plant or like an intercropping plant. And the idea is that the insects or the pests, they have favorite foods just like we have favorite foods. And the blue Hubbard squash is one of those that attracts the most pests. So the most deadly pests that we have, like the most common, like the vine borer, the squash bug, the cucumber beetle, those ones that decimate our plants. So um, the Hubbard squash is a trap plant for the cucumber beetle, the squash bug, and the vine borer. And there have been studies done on the trap cropping. So this year I'm going to plan on doing some trap cropping because I don't want to deal with the vine borer or the squash bugs. I have not had too much um, cucumber beetle. I mean I've seen a few of them last year I think, but with my scarlet runner beans being right there next to the cucumbers, I think a lot of the beneficial insects took care of those cucumbers for me. Um, because the scarlet runner beans attracted a lot of hummingbirds and different things. So the cucumber beetle did not stay around long. You want to try to plant these crops like in the perimeter of your garden. So sunflower and blue Hubbard squash are two of the best trap crops that you can plant in your garden. And then what you want to do is you want to get those trap crops planted ahead of your regular crops. So what I was saying was okay, great visiting with you all. Good night. See you. All right. Thank you for joining me, our Georgia Suburban Homestead. I hope you feel better. So what you want to do is you want to get those trap crops planted ahead of your cash crops is what they call them, like the ones that your favorites. Give the bugs their favorites first so that they'll leave your favorites alone. So if you haven't already gotten some sunflowers in your garden or some blue Hubbard squash, because I mean everybody doesn't plant blue Hubbard squash, right? But if you don't already have some of these things in your garden as trap crops, then it's not too late to start them. You can go ahead and get them started. But then what I would suggest is maybe planting after you get your blue Hubbard squash planted or your sunflowers planted, wait a couple weeks and then also plant a backup of your squash so that just in the event that your first round of squash gets taken out, before your trap crop has had a chance to attract those pests, then you can take those um, damaged crops out. Your blue Hubbard squash and your sunflower will have gotten to a attractive state, and then you can put your backups in. So by the time you put your backups in, your trap crops have gotten to the maturity level that they are enticing for those pests. Now, what you want to do is you want to keep an eye on those trap crops, okay? Because I don't want to have to go around spraying my garden. So that's the idea of planting trap crops, because these crops are going to trap all the pests into that crop. So once I see that the crop is working and it's trapping those pests in there, I'm going to spray that crop, okay? Neem oil, whatever, what have you, because I don't want to have to go around spraying 1,000 plants. I'd rather just spray those few plants that are the trap crops. You get what I mean? So you have to keep an eye on those trap crops to make sure that you're getting the pests when they're coming in, because that way they won't repopulate. Hello, Audrey. Thanks for joining me. Listening while packing. I wanted to make sure to thank you for researching and sharing this information with us. Oh, you are so welcome. I had to figure some things out because I knew there had to be a way to control some things other than having to spray everything. What beans? I bought a plant from Home Depot and I think it had the cucumber beetle. Now I have them in my garden. Oh, wow. I had scarlet runner beans planted with my cucumbers last year. And they're the most beautiful. They are a vining bean and they grow the most beautiful little flowers. And it's kind of a survival plant. So the flowers are edible. They're super sweet. The beans are edible. The roots are edible. The whole plant is edible. But of course, I grew it last year in and the goal was to save seed last year. So this year I planted it around my garden again. And then this year, what I'll do is I will actually harvest the beans this time. I was told soap and water for the cucumber beetles. They are putting holes in my eggplant leaves. That's definitely uh, an, that's definitely a remedy, Mel. The soap, see what the soap does is bugs don't breathe the way we breathe, okay? They breathe through their bodies and they have like a protective coating, if you will, so that when it rains or when they come in contact with water, they don't immediately drown, okay? So they have like a protective coating on them. So this what the soap does, and you want to make sure that it's Dawn and it's regular Dawn and not antibacterial Dawn. Okay, so just the normal, regular, original Dawn. Okay, and then with your water or whatever. So what the soap does is it dissolves that barrier that the bug has on it, and that allows the water to penetrate and kill the bug. So that's why soap and water work so well. Where was I at? Oh, the Vineyard Chicks. Hey, girls, I'm looking forward to the 18th. I've been thinking about it. 8 more days, this concert. If you guys don't already know, go ahead and put IBG in the chat, Vineyard Chicks, so that your link will be dropped in the chat. You guys have to subscribe and check out the Vineyard Chicks. They're going to be doing a concert, a live concert on the 18th on their channel. And there's a few of us that are going to be participating in introducing some of the songs and things for the concert. And I am so honored that the Vineyard Chicks have reached out and asked me if I would participate. And of course, I could not say no. So yes, everybody check out the Vineyard Chicks. They have a live concert coming up on the 18th. So check them out for that. I don't have any of those. You talking about the Scarlet Runner beans? I have a bunch of Scarlet Runner beans. Hey James, well you oh hey cuz, this is my internet cousin, Broke Farmer, at work hanging for a minute. Nice to see you. I don't know if I caught you. It's 8:17, 3 minutes ago. I don't know if I caught you, but thank you for stopping in. We're talking about trap crops here. I know that you had just did that video about this, or did that live about the stink bug. So I was doing some research on how I can uh, get ahead of the vine borer. And what I came up with was trap crops. So I have planted, well, I have not planted yet, but I've germinated some blue Hubbard squash in hopes to be able to use that as a trap crop to trap vine borers, squash bugs, cucumber beetles, and anything else that wants to be attracted to it. Make sure you are going out every day and picking off those cucumber beetles and looking at the undersides of all the leaves for the eggs. Absolutely. It's definitely important to look at the underside of the leaves because that's where they like to hide their little eggs. Let's see. Mr. Joe said spray the underneath leaves. I said I used the original Dawn. Yes. Undersides of the leaves. That's where you have to look for the eggs. And a lot of times you can just, you know what else you can use? You can use tape. If you get some duct tape and, you know what I mean, put the sticky side out, you can go on the undersides of your leaves and you can just, it'll just take those eggs right off onto the duct tape. Concert, woohoo! I will be there to watch. Yes, David Gray, thanks for coming in. I had just mentioned you. I did not forget about you. I have mint still to go out for you. I just have not been able to get to the post office. So I didn't want to pot it. I didn't want to package it up until I knew I was ready to go to the post office. So it will be out shortly. When I do send it out, I will definitely keep you posted. And I'm not sure if it was pineapple mint or chocolate mint, but I'll check back with the email to make sure that I send out the right mint for you because I do have both. Sounds good. I need to trap some. Yeah, because I didn't get any zucchini last year. I didn't get any squash last year. I planted Romanesco and I can't remember the name of the other one. There was 2 types of zucchinis that I planted, 3 types of zucchinis that I planted. I also planted 2 different types of patty pan squash. I planted like all the squash last year and I got 0 squash. 0. I did get some volunteer spaghetti squash, but I didn't plant that. That was a volunteer. I don't see eggs, but the tape is a great idea. We have these bugs that make bubbles to lay their eggs. Oh, I don't remember what those bugs are called, vineyard chicks, but I have seen those. But yeah, the soap and water works really well. It definitely works really well. You are welcome, David. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, so that's the idea behind the trap cropping. But you have to make sure that you time it right. And you have to make sure that once you see those bugs on the trap crop, you spray the trap crop. Because that's the only way you're going to get rid of those bugs because they overwinter in the soil and they create different like habitats within your soil and around your garden. And in order to get rid of them, you have to get rid of all of the adults so that they can't keep laying the eggs. So once you have seen them on your trap crops, you need to be spraying those trap crops. And sometimes, like the Blue Hubbard grows so vigorous despite all the pest damage, you you will get a bonus crop of blue Hubbard squash. Now, whether or not you like blue Hubbard squash, I don't know, but you can let it grow and maybe harvest the seeds, and then you'll have an endless supply of blue Hubbard squash seeds to always plant your trap crops. Another one is so the blue Hubbard squash is good for cucumber beetles, squash bugs, vine borer. So those are like the top three, like that decimate. And then the stink bugs, broke farmer was talking about in his live. Sunflowers are an excellent trap crop for stink bugs. So you want to try to surround your crops that stink bugs want to attack with sunflowers. Okay, they'll be attracted to those sunflowers. But the key is to keep the sunflowers blooming. Now, when your sunflowers get tired and start to fizzle out, you need to have planted a succession of sunflowers so that you can replace those ones that are fizzling out. So that you'll always have a so that you'll always have something that's attractive to those stink bugs so that they'll stay off your crops. So sunflowers is one. Another one that stink bugs like is buckwheat. And buckwheat only takes 5 weeks to get to the desired state where it's attractive to those stink bugs. But it also attracts a host of other beneficial insects. So there's a bonus there. And so does the sunflower. It attracts pollinators and beneficials, and it provides food for the beneficials and the pollinators. So when you're attracting more beneficials and pollinators, they tend to eat, or they eradicate those bad bugs too. So it's a bonus to have the sunflower. Spit bug. Oof. I didn't know it's called a spit bug. I don't know. How can we get rid of them? They are on the lavender. Blue Hubbard squash, how big does it get? It gets pretty big, and it's a really vigorous plant. So you got to sow your seeds a half an inch to an inch under the soil. You can grow them. Let's see, they thrive in the heat of summer and they prefer an area of full sunlight. Be sure to use soil. Here we go. Squash plants will grow to 1 to 2 feet tall, and they can take 6 feet of garden space. So that one plant would be enough to attract a host of pests. You can definitely prune it too. You can trim it and keep it under control as much as you'd like. Space each mound at least 6 feet apart from one another. So I'm only growing 4 of these, and I'm growing them one on one side of the garden, one all the way on the other side of the garden, and then one on each side. That's the idea. And I'm going to grow them in containers most likely, because I want to be able to move it around and attract. Buckwheat is a good cover crop too. Yes, it is. Yes. So once it has done its job with the insects, then you can, when the fall comes and it starts to go, it starts to die out, then you can cut it down and just let it, fertilize your bed. Pam Lopez sent me some comfrey root and one piece that has some green on it. Oh, I need some comfrey. I think I forgot. I wrote down here, we talked about comfrey in the last live, and I forgot who, our Georgia homestead. Okay. Thank you for reminding me, Mel, because I was supposed to reach out to her and get some comfrey. I planted comfrey and then I didn't take care of it. It was in a container and it died. So Gardening Know-How says to mix hot peppers, cloves, water, and Dawn soap. Yeah, I just use the water and the Dawn soap because I'm basically spraying the bugs themselves. So the Dawn soap, just regular Dawn soap. You never want to use antibacterial soap on your plants, okay? Because you need those beneficial bacterias. You don't want to use antibacterial. You just use the plain old original formula Dawn soap and water. And that's enough because what the Dawn soap does is, like I explained before, it'll break down the barrier that is on the bug. The bug breathes through its body, and there is a barrier on its body that keeps the bug protected from water. So, like rain and different things. And when you spray the bugs with that soap and water, the soap will break down the barrier on the bug's body and the water will drown the bug. So that's how it gets rid of the bugs. I think I planted about 150 sunflowers. Wow, Mel. I planted, I don't know, I was planting them about 5 at a time in the different spaces that I planted them. So I might have planted, I don't know, I might have planted about 25, but I didn't plant 150, that's for sure. Oh, for the spit bugs. Okay. Not cloves, but garlic cloves. Sorry. Okay, garlic. Yes. Yes. For the spit bugs. Oof. I cannot imagine that. A spit bug. That was for spit bugs, Mel. Thanks, Broke, for stopping in. I hope you enjoy the rest of your, well, I don't know if you enjoy being at work, but I hope you have a great evening at work and a great weekend. Is there a good time that is best to spray with soap and water? Yes, there is a good time that is best. You want to spray at night when the sun is not blazing on your plants. So if you spray at night with your soap and water, or spray when you see the bugs, spray at night with your soap and water, and then in the morning you want to try to rinse that residue off. You don't want to leave that on your plants when the sun starts to hit them. 150 peppers. Whoa, you sound like Garden State Gardener. He's got a lot of peppers going on. How long do I leave it on for? Just leave it on overnight and rinse it off. Love the new logo, Mel. 150 peppers. Wow, I don't have that many, but I have a lot. I don't, I really seriously this year's decided that I am not going to overdo it. Like I really overdid it last year. I had too much going on and I totally burnt myself out last year. So this year I told myself, you know what? I'm not starting seeds. I'm not even doing it. I'm going to go to the local nursery, the farmer's market, and I shared that video with you guys. The plants are not expensive. 9 times out of 10, you get like 8 plants in a 4-cell pack for $2. So what are they, like 50 cents a piece? To save myself the headache and the stress and the work and the time, 50 cents a piece I thought was okay. It was not breaking the bank and it was eliminating a lot of stress for me. And it was controlling how many plants I was going to have. Because when you're starting seed, it's very easy to get carried away. Okay. It's super easy to overplant, to overseed. And then once all those plants start growing, it's so hard to get rid of them. Like, what do if you can only give so many away, and then you want to plant the rest because you don't want to just throw them out. So it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm yet, yeah, last year I just did way too much. So this year I told myself, you know what? I'm not doing all that. I'm only going to grow so much this year. So I did get, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I probably got 8 different tomato varieties. Some are cherry tomatoes, some are grape tomatoes, some are indeterminate tomatoes, and some are, I think they're all indeterminate actually. I don't know if I got any determinate tomatoes. Um, but some are slicers and some are like more for like sauce tomatoes. So I got a variety of tomatoes, and I'm only growing um, 5 different peppers. Okay. Um, and then of course I got my herbs and my brassicas, but I'm not overdoing it this year. I'm definitely not overdoing it. 2 beds for peppers, and the side garden is half full. That's a lot of peppers. They're close to $5 a plant at Home Depot. Yeah, I don't buy plants at Home Depot. I don't buy them at Home Depot. I don't buy them at Lowe's. I don't buy plants at the big box stores. I usually go to this little, well, it's actually not little, but it's right at the corner by my house, and it's a local farmers market that I have always shopped at. There have been 2 nurseries that closed by me this year. Well, the other one closed last year. I think it was last year it closed. The other one closed this year. So 2 of the nurseries that I am used to going to have closed down. Like all of a sudden just closed. And I was like, wow, I just saw them last week and now they're just packed up and gone. It's really sad. I don't know why they closed, but Harvest gets donated to the local homeless mission and also to St. Vincent de Paul Food Bank in my town. That's a good idea, David. I still don't know if I want to dedicate space to the acorn squash or the butternut squash if I know that I'm not going to like it. So I think the first step would be to buy one and cook it and then decide whether or not I want to grow it. Come salsa with me challenge looks so good. I am so glad I came up with a fun, easy challenge. Definitely. I saw Ann Dale's update with her come salsa with me. But I don't know. I didn't notice if she put any peppers in that grow bag. I know she had 2 different types of tomatoes, parsley, onions, basil, dill, but I don't think she had any peppers in there. I could have missed it. I don't know. Maybe I will sell some plants next year. I did. I sold plants last year, but I just had so many. I didn't sell them all. And then I wanted to plant them all and I couldn't because I didn't have anywhere else to put them. So I wish I had a nursery like yours near here. Yes. You know, I am so blessed. I do consider myself blessed. I have incredible free resources near me. The sawmill, I shared that video with you guys where I can get that free wood. I mean, that's a huge blessing. I've got the compost site. I can get free compost. I mean, it's safe, it's tested. Um, I can get free compost. I can get free wood. The farmers market up here is not expensive. I can buy plants. Um, they've got everything I need there: flowers, vegetables. They've got fruit trees. Um, they've got it all. They've got fertilizers and canning supplies and just everything. They sell a lot of Amish products in there. So I told myself I was going to try those pickled eggs, and I still haven't done it yet. Um, let's see. You can trellis it up. That's how I did it. It did great. That was not too big. Are you talking about the squash? Yes, Andale Homestead Salsa Garden looks great. You're the best and blessed, my friend. Our chocolate mint did not survive. Oh no. I'll be working on finished your mom's beanies this weekend. Your chocolate mint did not survive. Oh no, Vineyard Chicks. Maybe I can send you some more. I have a ton of chocolate mint. I can send you guys out some chocolate mint. When I send out the chocolate mint for the rest, I can write it down because I'll forget. Um, so Mel needs some squash seeds, and the Vineyard Chicks can use some more chocolate mint. I have a ton of mint, so I love it. Yes, the butternut squash. Okay, so you trellised the butternut squash. Interesting. The cow took me longer than I expected, but I won and it's done. I saw the progress on your cow, Nisi. Nisi, when is your um, surgery, your hip surgery? That's coming very soon. Our Thai basil did come back, but the chocolate mint did not. Oh, thank you, Miss Adrian. You are so awesome. Can we send you something? Yeah, you can send me anything you want to send me. I don't care. If I'm not picky, I don't, whatever you feel like sending me. I have super hot peppers, regular peppers like cayennes and jalapenos. Yeah, I'm only growing jalapenos this year. I'm not growing any other hot peppers. I had a ton of hot peppers last year, and I still have some in the freezer. So my best peppers that germinated grew rapidly was from a bag of dried Mexican peppers. They're California peppers, Anaheims. Yeah, I had some Anaheims that grew last year. They grew really well, actually. And it was a pack, and it was called salsa. Um, what's it called? Salsa peppers or salsa mix or salsa variety or something. It was like four different hot peppers, but you didn't know what they were. It was just they were all in one package, so it was just like a mystery. You just planted them out and whatever. So I did get a lot of Anaheims, and plus um, I have a pack of just the Anaheims that I got from Mary's heirloom seeds. I don't know if you guys can see that. Mary's heirloom seeds, the Anaheim pepper. So yeah, I got some of those too. But I just decided this year I wasn't going to do all that. I was just going to do the jalapeno and that's it. Pineapple mint, those beans, and Hubbard. Oh, the pineapple mint, right. Okay, so that I already have that in the email, so I got that. The squash seeds and the scarlet runner beans. I love those scarlet runner beans. They attract hummingbirds. I wish my boys liked squash, but they don't. The closest I can get them to it is pumpkin pie. Aw. June 30th. Okay. End of June. All right. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. I will have to remember that. I already said a prayer for you, Nisi, so I know that the Lord is able. I have confidence that you will recover quickly. Are you excited to get it over with? Okay. You have an amazing garden. Yes, she does. She does have an amazing garden. I don't know where she gets the energy to do all of that because I just have a lot of stuff that I'm doing like other than the garden and it's hard to keep up sometimes. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Had to talk to my daughter for a second. Um, yeah, Mel, you have, I admire you because I don't, what is Zeke barking about? I am just, I'm in awe of you all the time. Like you are constantly on the move in that garden. And I wish I had the time to dedicate strictly to the garden. Like I have a lot of time. I do have more time than I have had before. I do. And I'm slowly but surely getting things done out there, but I envy you because I do not spend as much time out there as I'd like to, put it that way. Since I can't garden this year, I'm planning for next year. Good job, Nisi. Don't even, yeah, you'll have a ton of plans. Want to grow tomatoes, red bell peppers, green leaf spinach, no, green leaf lettuce, spinach. I would also love to grow Brussels sprouts and asparagus. Definitely. I have to plant asparagus. You know, the sooner you plant it, the sooner you can get a harvest. But I don't know why I haven't planted. You know what? The thing with me is planting stuff like that, I have to make up my mind to give them a forever home. And sometimes that's really hard. Sorry. Zeke was barking. What is it, pup? What is it? What is it, pup? Hmm? What is it? What is it? Hmm? Daddy's laying down. Daddy's laying down. Relax. Yeah, relax. Counting the days. Oh, wow. I'm excited for you. Yes. It's been 3 long years of constant pain. I'm so ready. I'm so happy for you, Nisi. No pun intended. There's always so much to do around here. Yes, there is. I know that. I know I can grow Brussels sprouts because my mother in law grew them here before, according to my father in law. So I'm going to give it a shot next growing season. I have not been successful in growing Brussels sprouts. Yes, we can all send you seeds in the fall for your garden next year. Yes, definitely, Nisi. It's fun planting a garden. It really is. So that's me. I have no idea where to plant the asparagus. That's my problem, like with stuff like that, that I know needs a forever home. So that's probably how I lost my comfrey. I had comfrey planted in a pot because I was told myself, okay, I'm going to get it in the pot just so that I can get it out of the package. But I have to find a place to plant it so that it'll come back every year. But I failed to get it in the ground, and then I let it overwinter in the pot, and it did not come back. So that was my mistake. But I think before I venture out to get more comfrey, I will have to dedicate a space for it so that at least when I get it, I will know where I want to put it. So I don't know where I want to put the asparagus. I have purple asparagus and then I have the regular green asparagus. I've got the roots and I bought them a couple of years ago, so I don't even know if they're any good anymore. But I bought them and I said, yes, I'm going to plant asparagus. And I never made up my mind as to where I was going to plant this asparagus. So I don't know. I might just have to make up my mind next year. I think after I start to build these garden beds that I want to build, um, I will use the existing beds that I have to do things like that. I only have the seeds. Yeah. Well, just like I have those like I had those elderberry and those figs. Um I also got my hands on some asparagus roots, crowns, whatever you call them. And then I never planted them. So I definitely have to make up my mind and give them a forever home. Hello, Kiki. You guys, Kiki, congratulate Kiki. She has made it to a milestone. She made it to 2,500 subscribers. So, congratulations, Kiki. I just finished watching your premiere earlier about your what are they called? The stackable planters, and everything looked really good. And I thought I was gonna make it in time. Like I set the reminder. I was like, oh, she's having a premiere. Okay, 4:30. Set the reminder. And then I set my phone down and I started doing something. And then when I came back to my phone, it was like 4:45, and I was like, dang it, I missed it. I was really trying to make it. But yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch the replay. Yep, and she's got strawberries growing in there. She's got sunflowers growing in them things. Like she's got all kinds of stuff growing in them stackable containers. It all looks really good, especially them strawberries. You make me want to grow my strawberries in those stackables, but I don't know because then I'll have to take them in during the winter because I'm afraid they won't survive in the stackables. Um, But you know what? I gotta take the stackables inside anyway because the stackables won't survive. They'll be brittle and they'll be, messed up the next year. I won't be able to use them. So either way, I have to take the stackables inside. So maybe I can do the strawberries in the stackables. Um, I've got like a little small strawberry patch in my wood chips already, and they are really putting on some strawberries. But I think it would look so cool if I had them in the stackables because yours look really good. And you guys are so fun. Like you guys should see her and her husband doing their live stream. Oh my gosh. It was so fun. Like I was smiling the whole time. It was just like, wow. It was really fun to see. It was really fun to watch. No worries. Just you watching means a lot. And I totally understand that. I totally do. Because now I have the dollar store ones, but Kiki has ones, I think she said they were from Costco or was it Costco? I think you mentioned it in the premiere. I want to say it was Costco, but she's got some that are not from the dollar store. No, but I have the ones from the dollar store. Like I have a ton of those. Amazon, that's what it was. Amazon. She's got some from Amazon. I found some at Sam's Club and they were 5 high and they were only $35. I thought I was going to buy them and then I didn't. So I don't know. I was like, you know what? I have enough stackables and I don't even use them all. I ordered a case of them stackables when they came out last gardening season because I wanted to make sure that I got my hands on them because they go so quickly. So I ordered a case of them and I only use so many of them. But you know what? I might go ahead and use more this year because I just went out and I got a bunch of compost and peat, and I'm about to mix up some container soil. So I'm thinking I'll have enough to go ahead and fill those stackables and put some stuff in there. I might have time to put some more strawberries in there. Who knows? Or or I'll use them for the fall and grow some spinach and stuff like that. I love my green stalks. They're amazing. Um, I understand. I have a green stalk that I haven't even unpacked yet. I saw that video. You should have gotten that. It was super cute. Yeah, I was at Sam's Club. I was like, look, you guys, it's a stackable for 35 bucks. Yeah, it was cute. I have to say it was nice looking. But I was not even using the ones that I had already. So it was like, why am I gonna buy that? And I don't even use the ones that I already have. So I didn't buy it. I was like, settle down. Simmer down now. Simmer down. Simmer down now. You will love it. I got one then like a week ago. I got my second one. Yes. And I love the color of yours, Mel, because it matches my logo, my colors of my logo. So, yeah. I love that. I love that green. Very attractive. Yes. What I noticed about the green stalk is the opening. Like, okay, so you've got the green stalk and you've got the, pocket, but then the other one is like stacked right on top of it. And there's a very little space for something to like pop out. Like it's a deep pocket, but the space for that plant to come out is like super small. And I don't know, it might just be me, but and I know plants, they find their way to the light. So it'll come out of there. But like when I saw you trying to harvest, like, or where you were looking at the radishes, like I could not plant radishes in there because it was like what, four radishes in a pocket. And that's just a lot of soil to dedicate to four radishes. So I probably would not choose to plant radishes in there, but I don't know. I don't know if I would, because they're kind of expensive. So I would definitely have to grow like I would have to get my money's worth out of that. It's a good idea, saving the stackable for the fall garden. Lots of leafy greens to grow. Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Like I can't figure out, like I can't decide on what I want to put in there. Like what is going to do good in there besides like leafy greens and things like short plants, I guess you could say. Mine are green. I am like my whole garden is green. Yes. I like that green though. Like that neon green or whatever that green is. I love it. It's like a lime green. It just pops. It's such a great color. No, it is plenty of room. It's just you. It's probably just me. And it's probably the fact that I'm just looking at it on a video and I don't actually see it like right in front of me. So that's probably just what it is. That's all. Because like um in the dollar store stackables, there's so much space between the one that's on top and the one that's on underneath it. Like there's like a lot of space between them. And in the green stalk, it's not like that. It's like they're just right on top of each other and like there's no like wiggle room between the stacks. So that's like what I was thinking, like that's what I was noticing. Like there's not a lot of space between the stacks. Herbs are always a good option as well. Yes, definitely. I love my herbs. I did lots of stuff in my stackables last year. They do good for the dollar store. Yeah, you did all those peas in there. That was pretty good. Beans, yeah. I saw the one you just did. You planted all those beans in that one. That one was big kahuna. That's an interesting choice of a bean. A big kahuna. Wiggle wiggle. Right, the wiggle room. There's no wiggle room in there. Yeah, the dollar store ones, I feel like they're not as deep as obviously they're not as deep as the green stalk ones, but they give you like space between the stacks. So I like to see that. I like to see that space. But it's just me. It's just me, and and I don't have one in front of me to actually see it like, you know, firsthand. So, and I've contemplated on getting one, but I'm not sure where I would put it. It would have to be in the shade because um, my garden gets zero shade. And I would probably put it in that back corner by that tree that I did all those weeds, to cut all those weeds out around. I could probably put the stackables back there, because that's the only space in my backyard, in my back garden, that gets any type of shade, because the sun comes up over that canopy of trees. And by the time it hits that corner, it's like end of the day type of sun. So it's not even hot sun. So yeah, 11 inches, the big kahuna beans. Woohoo! 11 inches. So that's how deep it is. It's 11 inches deep. That's interesting. Nisi's laughing at me. In the garden? Yeah, I guess I'd put it in the garden. But it's like I said, I would probably put like leafy greens and stuff in it. And I couldn't put it in the garden if I did that, because my garden, like I said, it gets zero shade. It's so like like full sun. Last, oh, the bean is 11 inches long. Oh, wow. So is that a shelling bean? Are those like dry beans? Or do you cook the pod and the bean with that one? Or do you cook the whole pod and the bean? Or do you shell it and take the beans out? How is that big kahuna supposed to be harvested? For the bean inside of the pod, or for the whole pod? Is acting up. Stringless bean. Okay. Is it a skinny bean? Is it like okay, let me see something here. Is it like one of the yard long beans? Is that what it is? I have to look it up now. Oh, it's a bush bean. The big kahuna is a bush bean. Okay. It's like a green bean. Okay. I see. Hold on a second. Let me pull up an image here. So I'll share with you guys. So the big kahuna bean is a bush bean, and it's a stringless bush bean. Whoops. So we got bigger beans, bigger flavor, astonished at Big Kahuna's crisp, nutty flavor, giant 11-inch pods, and unstoppable productivity. Compact, too tall plants work wonders. So you have a ton of these growing in your stackable. And it says that 2 plants work wonders in small space gardens. And you got about 25 of these plants. So this is what the beans look like here. These are the big kahuna beans. Whoops. There we go. So there we go. That's what the big kahuna bean looks like. Those are some pretty long beans. Okay, so I was thinking they were like fat beans, like fat pods and fat, beans, but they're just long beans. Okay, I see. They will hang all down my green stalk. They sure will. That is gonna look so cool to have all those beans, and they'll be so easy to harvest. Sometimes it's so hard to harvest beans because they just blend in with the whole plant, especially their green ones. That's why I like to grow like the yellow ones and the purple ones because then you can see them really easily. But like the green ones, sometimes you miss them and then they get so big and then you're like, oh, that's too big now. I don't want it. How do you get the green screen on StreamYard? So what you do is you go to settings, which is at the bottom, and in settings it says virtual background. So you can pick a photo that you want to download yourself, or they have a few different ones that you can choose from. So like this one behind me, that's my lavender. I mean, not lavender, sorry. That's my sage. My sage started to flower, so I took a picture of it. And then that's the picture that you see behind me is the sage that's flowering in my garden now. Of course, you were thinking they were fat. Well, it says big kahuna. So I'm thinking it's like a big fat pod with big beans, like the Scarlet Runner. But it's not. But that's gonna look really good. Yeah. Green stalk, green beans. A lot of green. Yeah. It's beautiful. My sage is flowering too. Yes, and the pollinators love it. They love that sage. Every time I go out there, they are on it. They are on that sage. It's good to see. Let me take some of these banners down. And the kale's flowering too. All right, guys, it's 9 o'clock. So I'm gonna get off of here. But I just want to thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate you guys when you guys come in and sit with me and talk with me and give me ideas, and we can bounce ideas off of each other. Um, oh, it's in your kitchen garden, huh? Yeah, that's sage. You know what? Sage is really good to plant with your cabbages because sage wards off the cabbage moths. So that's why I have sage throughout the garden. It's in two or three different places I have sage. And then my cilantro is also flowering and the kale is flowering. So I've got a bunch of things out there flowering. But I'm not going to let anything go to seed this year. I collected a bunch of seed last year, so I'm going to skip this year on those things. But I'm going to go ahead and chop that stuff out and put it in the compost. This was very informative and lots of fun, per usual. Love you, my friend. Love you too. Have a good night, Mona. Thank you for coming in. Nisi, have a good night. Thanks for joining me. Have a great weekend, everyone. And until next time, the more you know, the more you grow. Bye, guys.